Why men self-sabotage their own happiness in relationships. Ever wonder why some men seem to run from the very happiness they crave in relationships? It's a confusing pattern, a paradox. Deep down, they want connection, stability, and emotional safety, yet somehow they keep pushing it away. If you've felt this personally or watched it happen to someone you care about, you're not alone. What looks like emotional distance or indifference on the surface is often something far more complex underneath. Today, we're dissecting why this happens, not to blame, not to excuse, but to understand the hidden mechanisms that quietly sabotage love and how this cycle can finally be broken. The hidden blueprint of self-sabotage. Most men do not avoid relationships because they don't want intimacy. They avoid them because intimacy challenges something deeply ingrained. Beneath the resistance, there is often a genuine desire for connection, to be understood, to be chosen, to feel at home with someone. But that desire is layered under years of conditioning, unspoken rules, and emotional survival strategies. Self-sabotage rarely looks like fear. It looks like logic. It shows up as overthinking, as emotional withdrawal, as suddenly focusing on flaws that never mattered before, as convincing yourself that something just feels off right when things are becoming stable. This is the paradox. Wanting happiness, but instinctively pushing it away the moment it becomes real. And the reason lies deeper than preference or personality. It lies in the subconscious blueprint many men carry into relationships. Wanting love, resisting safety. For many men, love has historically been something to earn, not something freely given. Approval came through performance, strength, achievement, emotional self-control. So when a relationship offers warmth without conditions, care without competition, and acceptance without struggle, it can feel unfamiliar, even suspicious. The nervous system, trained in effort and endurance, doesn't recognize peace as safety. It recognizes it as vulnerability. And vulnerability, for many men, has never felt safe. The iron cage of vulnerability. From an early age, men are often taught a silent rule: be strong, stay composed, don't expose weakness. This message isn't always spoken, but it is consistently reinforced. Crying is discouraged, emotional openness is minimized, asking for reassurance is framed as dependence. Over time, this creates an internal cage where emotions are managed privately and selectively shared, if at all. In relationships, this conditioning becomes costly because emotional closeness requires exposure, and exposure feels dangerous to someone taught to protect themselves at all costs. So instead of leaning in, many men pull back. Instead of expressing fear, they create distance. Instead of saying, "This matters to me," they act like it doesn't. This isn't coldness, it's defense. Fear disguised as control. Fear rarely announces itself honestly. It disguises itself as control, independence, or rational decision-making. A man may tell himself he needs space, when what he's actually feeling is emotional overwhelm. He may convince himself the relationship isn't right, when the real discomfort comes from being seen too clearly. Past wounds amplify this response. Unresolved heartbreaks, emotional neglect, betrayals that were never processed. Each one teaches the subconscious a lesson. Closeness equals risk. So protective barriers go up. Walls disguised as standards, distance disguised as clarity. The tragic part is that these defenses don't just block pain, they block happiness too. Why men push away what they want most. When happiness feels unfamiliar, the mind searches for escape routes. Arguments are created where none existed. Small issues are magnified. Emotional connection is reframed as pressure. Commitment starts to feel like confinement. Chaos feels known. Peace feels uncertain. So the cycle repeats. Relationships end not because love was absent, but because safety was misunderstood as danger. And each time it happens, it reinforces the belief that something is wrong with relationships themselves, instead of the internal patterns driving them. Breaking the cycle. Breaking this cycle doesn't begin with finding the right partner. It begins with recognizing the internal resistance when happiness appears. It means noticing when fear is being mislabeled as logic, when independence is being used to avoid intimacy, when control is being chosen over connection. True emotional strength isn't the absence of vulnerability. It's the willingness to stay present when vulnerability arises. Because the very thing many men are protecting themselves from is often the thing they want most, and the cost of never confronting that fear is a life filled with almosts, what-ifs, and relationships that never quite reach their potential. So the question becomes, what if happiness isn't the threat? What if running from it is?